Okay, so let me just get this off my chest. Some influencers lie, and they lie to get paid money. That's not what's happening in this video. Rather than lying to you about all of these makeup products, I'm actually gonna be brutally honest and rank all of these viral TikTok products and let you know what's actually good, what sucks, what's worth your money, what's not. I'm a professional makeup artist. I'm really picky about makeup. Yes, I'm an influencer, but there's nothing really in it for me here today. I really just wanted to try a lot of these products that are getting a lot of traction and just give you my real, brutally honest opinion on them. This is actually a part 2, so if you haven't seen part 1, go watch that, but I'm gonna be organizing these makeup products in 2 different tiers. There are 5 different tiers. The best one a product can receive is a certified slay 10 out of 10. This is basically a perfect product that I really have no notes on. The next tier is viral and valid. So these are for the products that I'm like, okay, I can see why this is so popular. So these are good products. They're not necessarily perfect in my opinion, but they're still really, really good and worth your money, if that makes sense. The next tier down is pretty mid, honestly. The products in this tier aren't good, they're not bad, they're just okay, they're meh. The next tier after that is missed the mark. So basically, this product didn't live up to any of the hype or expectations, it was just kind of a flop. And the last tier is let her go. This is reserved for special products that I wouldn't recommend to anyone, that are not worth the money, and I just really don't like. Anyways, if you want to see me brutally roast makeup products, keep on watching. Okay, so I'm actually gonna start off with a pretty banger product. This is the Say Glowy Super Gel. These have been getting a lot of hype online, and to be honest, for a good reason. This is kind of like a makeup primer slash moisturizer that makes your skin super glowy, but what I love about this is it's a clean formula and it wears really nicely underneath makeup. I actually have 2 shades. I have the shade Star Glow, which is the lighter shade, and I have the shade Sun Glow, which is a slightly darker shade. These do not make your skin shimmery, they just add the most beautiful, subtle, natural looking, juicy glow to the skin. The only thing I don't love about these products, and it might just be based on the shade, is that this darker shade here, when I apply it on its own, it does look a little bit uneven. It's not perfectly distributed, but that might just be because this is obviously a dark shade. This gives you more of a bronzed look. That's the only thing I can really say. This shade doesn't do that whatsoever. The shade goes on perfectly. So I was kind of between Certified Slay and Viral and Valid, but I think because I have that small itty bitty tiny gripe with the darker shade, I'm gonna have to put these guys in Viral and Valid. I totally get the hype on these products. If you love glowy skin, you like clean products, you like, you know, kind of primers and base products that aren't too heavy, you can wear this on its own, you can wear it under makeup and it's not gonna disrupt everything. If all those things sound like music to your ears, you need to try the Say Glowy Super Gel. It is just so good. This foundation that I'm about to talk about has gone mega viral. This is a Tier Mask Fit Red Cushion Foundation. I'm wearing the shade 13C right now. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little hesitant when I first tried this foundation. I'm not a huge fan of foundations in general. I'm usually more of a skin tint girl, but this one surprised me. I will say right off the bat, I'm not the hugest fan of a cushion tint format. I prefer a bottle with a pump, but that's just my personal preference. However, I will say applying this foundation with the applicator that it comes with, it really does apply very nicely. And what I did notice about this foundation is it gives me a ton of coverage without looking heavy. It actually doesn't give me a mask-like finish that I typically don't like in foundations. This makes my skin look really even and flawless. But what I like even more about this foundation is how long wearing it is. It's very long wearing, it doesn't settle into any fine lines on my face. It's not too glowy, it's not too matte that it looks weird. It's like the perfect kind of satiny skin-like finish. My only gripe with this is honestly the packaging. I just don't love like a cushion foundation vibe. Just not my favorite thing. But again, that's personal preference. I'm also gonna have to put this one in Viral and Valid just because I wasn't expecting to like this foundation, but I actually really do like it, and I will reach for this on days that I want a little bit more coverage. No, this isn't the most like light coverage foundation. It's definitely more of a medium to full coverage foundation, but for a medium to full coverage foundation, this gives the most natural and not mask-like look on the skin, if that makes sense. So I actually really liked this one. I've seen everyone and their mom using this concealer on social media. This is the Hourglass Vanish Concealer. I use the shade Birch. And you know what? I actually used to use this concealer a lot more, but I feel like my thoughts on this concealer have finally fully settled. I do have a little bit of beef with this concealer. Okay, so if you want high coverage concealer, this gives high coverage. However, I've seen a lot of the people using this concealer on social media, they just have like perfect skin and no lines, no texture, no nothing. If you're young and you want a full coverage concealer and you don't have any lines or anything like I just mentioned, maybe this would be good for you. However, if you're like me and you have dry skin patches, stay away from this concealer. It's going to cling to them. This concealer is also just a little bit heavy for my liking. I do feel like this one particularly sits on top of the skin a little bit. It's not bad for covering up blemishes here and there, honestly, but especially under the eyes, I just don't find this to be a very good concealer for underneath the eyes. I'm just kind of noticing that the older I get, the more I really notice when things are settling into fine lines, when things are creasing, when things are bunching, clinging to dry patches and texture and stuff like that. So for that reason, I'm gonna put this concealer in the pretty mid, honestly. Is it a bad concealer? No, I think that some people would really love this concealer, but is this the best concealer I've ever tried? No, it's not. I really like the Armani Luminous Silk Concealer. I use it way more than I use this one. I'll link both down below if you wanna check either of them out. So this next product is a little bit bougie, but let's talk about it. This is the Dior Forever 24-Hour Skin Contour Stick. I have the shade Light. So I actually really enjoy the color of this contour. This is a really amazing shade for fair skin tones. I have not tried the other shades, so just keep in mind this is sort of reviewing from a pale skin perspective on this particular product. This contour stick goes on super creamy and it blends out really easy, but the thing about this is it actually lasts a super long time on the skin. I always like to reach for a contour that kind of blends into the skin really easily, and this one does just that. I can apply it straight from the stick with no issues. A little goes a long way. This stick is really pigmented and I actually like the shape of it. It's like a little bit of an oval shape. I just find it convenient for when I'm doing my contour. I really actually like this contour stick and I've been using it a ton ever since I got it. It's expensive for sure, but a little goes a long way. It's Dior, it's gonna last you a really long time. I find the packaging really beautiful, the matte packaging with the silver top. It blends good, it lasts good. I really don't have any complaints other than with the shade range. I know she's expensive, but I am gonna have to put her in the viral invalid category just because this formula is so buttery, so creamy. If you have the money to invest in this, I do think you would not be disappointed, especially if you have fair skin and you're looking for that genuine, cool toned, not too warm, but also not too gray, so that you're dead looking contour stick. I just really think this is a good one that I would recommend. I feel like there's been a ton of blush launches in the last few years, especially cream blushes. So I wanted to go over a couple of the most viral ones and just talk about them for a minute. Starting off with the very controversial YSL Make Me Blush liquid blushes. These were controversial upon launching because they came out with this like white lilac shade, and to be honest, I just don't really know what they were doing with that. They had pictures of like darker skin models wearing it and it looked completely different than it did in real life. It was like white in real life. Anyways, that got some pushback, rightfully so. It was a little weird. But I do want to talk about the actual formulation of these blushes. I'm using the shade 37, which is a really pretty color, but mostly what I look for in a blush is something that's really creamy, something that's long lasting, something that's easy to blend. And what I found with these blushes is they're a little bit patchy. They don't apply super creamy on the skin. They're almost like a little thick. They sit on top of the skin. I can definitely make them work. They're not horrible, but I do find that they lift up my foundation a little bit. I don't know if it's the formula or the applicator, but I'm not gonna lie, I didn't love these. And again, I just wasn't a fan of the shade range. There wasn't anything at all for darker skin tones to use. They all just had a very strong white base, which worked okay for me, but yeah, this launch was kind of a mess. I'm gonna have to put this one in Miss the Mark. I think it's pretty obvious on why I think these miss the mark in many different categories. I will say though, the packaging does slay. YSL always does nice packaging. I love a ton of products from YSL, but these just didn't hit. Okay, so this next blush is for those of you who want a really nice blurring, airbrushed finish blush that's pigmented but easy to blend in, okay? These are the Huda Beauty Blush Filter Cream Blushes. I cannot say enough good things about these blushes. I love that they come with a more precise, smaller applicator. This makes applying them on the skin so much easier. They don't distribute too much product, so it's very user-friendly. And like I mentioned, this formula does actually look like a filter on the skin. It smooths, it blurs, it makes you look airbrushed, all the while being the easiest blush to blend into the skin, maybe that I've ever used, to be honest. I have a ton of different shades. I'm gonna quickly throw them up on the screen so you can see what they look like if you have a similar skin tone to me. But I'm gonna have to put these little guys in the Certified Slay 10 out of 10 category. I just don't have any notes for these. I love the packaging, I love the shades, I love the pigmentation, the blendability, the way they look on my skin. They're perfect. Never letting them go. Love them. Okay, so these had a really strong idea behind them. These were marketed as the best blush drop of the year, I believe is what they went with. This is the Hourglass Unreal Liquid Blush, and as you can see, these come with a little dropper. I'm demoing the shade Scene, and let me tell you a little bit about this formula. So first of all, you have to shake these really well because the formula does kind of separate a little bit. It goes from pigment to oil, so you do have to really shake them well before using them. The formula is very, very liquidy, but these are pigmented. These blend pretty easily as well, which I like. I did think the shades that they came out with were pretty, but these don't last a super long time on the skin, I find, just because they have that oil base. They are a little bit slippery. I think I'm gonna have to put these in the pretty mid, honestly, category. Not because they're bad, but just because I don't find myself reaching for them very often. There's nothing about them that really sets them apart from a lot of the other blushes I love. If you really like some of the shades, definitely pick them up. If you're into vegan clean beauty, this is a nice blush. I would say you can get a sheer finish, but you could also build this up to get a pretty fuller coverage finish too. So it's nice that they're versatile in that way. I expected a little bit more from these, I think. Not bad, not good. They just star. I actually have one more blush that I want to talk about. I feel like I couldn't make a ranking viral products video without this blush because this went viral. I made a TikTok about these blushes when they first came out and y'all went crazy for it. I'm talking about none other than the Milk Cooling Water Jelly Tints. Let me start off by saying these are for a specific person and a specific purpose. These are meant to be a blush stain. They are meant to wear a very long time. With the nature of them being a stain, they will set down quickly. So you do have to work quickly, and I recommend you do have some sort of moisturizing base on your skin so that it's gonna make this easier to blend out. So whether you have a good moisturizer under your foundation or you're using a hydrating foundation, that is gonna help when you apply this, I think. I do think this formula is really innovative. I mean, it's like a jelly, it looks like a candy. And I do have to say, these last on the skin for a very long time. I personally like these blushes. I'm gonna have to put her in the viral and valid section. I think my only critique for these is they could be a little easier to blend, but these look really beautiful on all kinds of skin tones. I just think this is a really unique product. This is a great one for the summertime where the weather's a little warmer and you just want your makeup to stay in place all day. Maybe you're going for a little bit lighter of a makeup look. You can still wear your blush and you can still have it last all day. This also works great as a lip tint. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about a viral setting powder. Setting powders can be really finicky. If they're too heavy, they'll settle in your fine lines and they'll age you. But if they're not like potent enough, they're not really gonna do much and your makeup's not gonna last throughout the day. Powder is supposed to set your makeup down and make it last longer, as well as blur your pores and make you look more airbrushed, in my opinion. That's what I think a good powder does. The Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder does just that. I have gone through a few of these powders. This is, I think, my third one, third, fourth maybe, I don't know. And this is one of the best powders I've ever tried in my life. This one honestly just does such a good job of blurring the skin. It literally looks like a filter in real life. I like how this gives a little bit of coverage without being too heavy and too cakey, so I can use it under my eyes, but I can also use it all over my whole face. It mattifies my makeup and controls my oil. The packaging is super thin and sleek, so I can throw it in my purse. I can use it with a brush. I can use it with a powder puff. I just have, honestly, no notes about this powder. I think this is one of the best powders on the market right now. I highly recommend it. So I obviously have to put her in Certified Slay 10 out of 10. She ate and left no crumbs. Creating a lip combo is a work of art. There have definitely been a lot of viral lip products launching lately, and I'm gonna give you my honest opinion on a few of them. These have been some of the most popular lip products over the last little while. I'm talking about the Rhode Peptide Lip Treatment and the Rhode Peptide Lip Tints. I consider these to be pretty different products, if I'm being honest. Let's talk about the lip tint first, okay? So these I like. I have a little bit of beef with these for a couple reasons. One of them being that they are not scented, okay? And that is just my personal gripe with these. I know a lot of people don't like fragrance, but the peptide lip treatments smell so good, and these are just named the most delicious things like peach pit, guava, espresso, raspberry jelly, yada yada yada, all of these fun scents in my mind, I would think. But no, these are not scented. Another thing I don't love about these is I find them to be way less hydrating than the lip treatments. I find them to be less hydrating than the lip treatments. I do reach for these from time to time, but to be honest, if I'm gonna wear something like this, I'm just gonna wear a gloss because I don't find these to have the most impact when it comes to hydration. I'm gonna have to put the Rhode tints in the pretty mid, honestly, category. Hear me out. They do have some really pretty shades. These are a nice glossy look. They're not drying by any means, but I don't know. I don't love them. I don't hate them, but I don't reach for these that much. The lip treatments, on the other hand, I do have some thoughts. In case I didn't make it obvious in the last little bit, I am a big fan of these. These lip balms are some of the most hydrating lip balms I've ever used. I have the scent Salted Caramel, and this is my favorite scent. It smells so good. I just got a new tube of this, thank God, because this one's almost empty. These make your lips look super glossy, high shine, but they almost feel like a lip mask. They wrap your lips, and I have dry lips. These really hydrate them. And I guess this is a gripe with the lip tints as well, but I don't use them as much as I use the lip treatments. These do get grainy at the end of their life. I don't know if Hailey has fixed this problem yet, but it doesn't really bother me that much, if I'm being honest. It's not ideal, but some of them get grainy sooner than others. If that really bothers you, maybe think twice about this, but these honestly are one of the best lip balms I've ever tried in my life. I cannot say she's 10 out of 10 because they do have a little bit of an issue with their formulation, but I will say these are viral and very valid. If you're on the market for a good lip balm, pick one of these up. Salted Caramel is my absolute favorite. It almost kind of smells like a toasted s'more. It's just like the most delicious thing ever. Anyways, I do want to talk about one more lip balm that has gone pretty viral recently. They recently came out with the shimmery version, but I'm going to talk about the original formula. This is the Ulla Hendrickson Pout Preserve Peptide Lip Treatment. This is incredible. These formulas, they might be better than the Rhode lip tints. They're a little less thick and gloopy, but a little more hydrating, I would say. I have the scent Creme Brulee, and I was a little nervous about this being too brown, too pigmented for a tint, but I'm wearing it on my lips right now, and I find this shade to just be so pretty. I can wear it on its own, I can wear it on top of a lip combo. It just gives the slightest little tiny kiss of color, so if you're worried it's gonna be too pigmented, they're not. They're nice and sheer and wearable. And did I mention I am obsessed with the way this smells? It's got that really nice caramelly scent that I really love. It tastes edible. I would like to eat it, but I won't. She is just perfect, perfect, perfect. I also like the original citrus one, but I'm gonna have to rank these guys in 10 out of 10 certified slay. I don't have any notes. These are the best lip balms I think I've ever used. Rhode comes in second. This has first place for me. Moving on, I was so skeptical about these when they first came out. I honestly didn't think I was gonna like them. I thought I was really not gonna like them. I'm talking about the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb Sticks with the high shimmer. So these are like the regular Gloss Bomb Sticks, but they have a bunch of glitter in them. And I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a huge fan of the shade range. For me personally, there was a lot of like bold colors, but there were a few wearable colors. So I was like, why not? Let's try. This is the shade Fenty Glow. And I was shocked when I applied these. I thought they were absolutely gorgeous. They're not too pigmented. They do have a lot of glitter, but they don't feel heavy on the lips. These definitely give a nice finish to the lips where it's something a little different. It's something that, you know, people would notice if you wear this out, but it's not gonna overwhelm your entire face, you know? I really like the shade and I'm definitely gonna be picking up more. I'm gonna put her in the viral and valid category. I thought about putting her in the certified slay category, but I just honestly, I don't feel like I have a shade that I absolutely love. I'm wearing this one right now and it is really pretty, but I don't usually wear a brownie lip combo, but I like this. It is good, it's worth your money, it's worth the hype. It is viral for a reason. I actually really highly recommend these. So if you've been thinking about trying the glittery gloss bomb sticks, I think you should do it. They're surprisingly good. There was another time that Fenty almost broke the internet, and that is when they came out with lip liners. I immediately knew I had to try these. I'm demoing the shade Peanut Butter 04, and this is just a really nice, cool brown shade. It reminds me of the Maybelline lip liner that I love in the shade On It. These are definitely more of a long-lasting lip liner. These are a little bit creamier than the Maybelline ones. You can actually like blend these out to get a nice diffused look, which I like. But once you give them a couple minutes to set down, they are in place all night long. They definitely are a more full coverage, a little bit thicker of a lip liner. I personally prefer something a little bit more of a thinner formula. So for example, the Makeup Forever lip liners I think are really great, MAC as well. They still have that drier texture, but they just feel a little bit thinner on the lips. So I think for that reason, I'm gonna have to put this one in viral and valid. These are great. These are worth the hype. These are definitely worth your money. I think these are wonderful. They have a ton of different shades. If you've been wanting to try these out, I have to say they are really good. I actually have a lot of lip products to talk about in today's video. This one was like a super viral lip product. This is the #1 selling lip liner, I think, on Amazon. This is the Statue Lip Liner Stain. And I'm showing you the shade Pinked. The thing about these lip liners is they definitely have that viral potential. They go on really intensely and they look really cool in videos. And I think this is a cool concept, a lip liner stain, but I'm just gonna be honest with you guys, I'm not the biggest fan of lip stains because I have really dry lips and I also have a bad habit of biting my lips. So when I apply a lip stain, this really tends to emphasize any areas that are a bit dry. But anyways, it does depend what kind of person you are. If you want your lip liner to be a little bit more natural and you just want to subtly enhance your lip shape, but you want it to last all day and to just kind of set it and forget it, you might like this. But if you're like me and you like more of a bold lip liner and you don't mind touching it up throughout the day, I would say, I don't know if this is really the product for you. I haven't used this a ton, but for now, I'm going to put this one in the pretty mid honestly section. Because for me, I'm just not gonna reach for this a lot. I think it is really cool for videos for sure. And again, such a cool idea, but for my personal preferences, it's just so-so, it's just okay. I don't really love it. I definitely don't hate it and I'll keep using it, but I am just gonna stick with a traditional lip liner. Oh, okay, and the last lip product I wanna talk about is a doozy. I don't even have it anymore because I just had to get rid of these. They were taking up space in my collection and I hated them so much. I'm so sorry. I'm talking about the Patrick Ta Major Volume Plumping Gloss. Oh my gosh. Patrick Ta, please don't hate me. I do love a lot of your products. If you watch part 1, you'll see that I raved about their new foundation, which was actually a little bit of a controversial one. You either really loved it or you really hated it. I happen to really love it and I talked about that in my last video. These lip glosses are just terrible. I'm so sorry, but like they stick to each other so bad. I think I have clips of them just like glooping together. I cannot stand that. It's a very thick formula, very sticky formula. And they also smell like pine needles or Christmas or something. And I just don't want to be smelling that when these are on my lips. I also didn't find these particularly glassy and glossy. They were just kind of like a sticky mess. So for that reason, I'm gonna have to put these guys in the Let Her Go. And these went viral. I saw a lot of people using these glosses, but these were so impressively bad for me. I was so disappointed. Let's move on and talk about eyes, shall we? The Urban Decay Moon Dust eyeshadows really made a resurgence recently. I have them in palette form, so I have a few different colors. I have Star Cowgirl, Space Cowboy, Wild Dipper Rides Again, and Cosmic Space Dust in this palette. And in today's video, I'm showing you what Space Cowboy looks like. It's one of their most viral shades. Honestly, these are beautiful shadows. These give a very sheer finish to the eye. They make the lids look wet. The glitter isn't too chunky. You can wear it on its own, but you can also wear it on top of an eye look like I wore today as a finishing touch. I think if you're on the hunt for a glitter shadow, these are definitely worth it. I'm gonna put these in the viral and valid category. I definitely see why these have made a resurgence. They give you that wet looking lid that catches the light so beautifully when you look down. If you're on the hunt for something like this, I recommend trying these ones. Okay, I'm gonna talk about a product I love before I talk about a product I hate, and I hope I don't hurt too many people's feelings with the last one, but just hang in there. I want to talk a little bit about the Makeup by Mario Master Matte's Neutral Eyeshadow Palette. This palette has been my go-to favorite eyeshadow palette for a long time. I wear this almost every single day, and I own a lot of eyeshadow palettes. This is an all matte palette, which I personally like. I don't mind that at all. Most of the time my eye looks are pretty matte, other than the days I want to put a little bit of shimmer on my eyes. I love how this has a really light, creamy white color that shows up on my fair skin, and it has everything in between all the way to a gray and a black shade. Even the espresso brown is really pretty for doing eyeliner. I was hesitant to pull the trigger on this palette because I thought it was just another neutral eyeshadow palette, but these are formulated so well. They're pigmented, they're creamy, they're blendable. And again, I just love the color story. I think if you like neutral eyeshadow, you would really like this palette, and I'm gonna put this one in Certified Slay 10 out of 10. I just have no notes. I love her so much. Okay, finally, last and maybe least, aside from the Patrick Ta glosses, this product was pretty bad. I also got rid of it. I do not have it anymore. I'm talking about the Benefit They're Real mascara. And I know so many people love this mascara, but I cannot recommend it. This mascara didn't give me much length or volume. I also didn't really like the brush. It was a bit chunky and hard to use. So not only did this mascara look mid on my eyelashes, it also transferred like crazy to my eyelids. By the end of the day, I was looking like a raccoon. There's no way I could wear this on my lower lashes, and on my top lashes too. I would get black marks on my eyelids and I would always have to wipe it away. It was just so annoying. I really wanted to like this mascara, but it is one of the worst mascaras I've personally tried, especially for having gone so viral. I think their FanFest mascara is incredible, but the They're Real mascara, I don't know, maybe I got a bad batch, but like, it just really wasn't good. So I'm gonna have to rank this one in the let her go category, because mascara can make or break your whole look, honestly. It seems like a little simple step, but mascara really can just, it affects a lot. So this is what everything looks like all ranked. What do you guys think? Do you agree or disagree with any of these products? Let me know in the comments down below. I read all of your comments and respond to basically everyone. Please spill the tea. Let me know any more viral products that you want me to rank, because I actually think these videos are pretty fun ranking the products. If you want to see more, give this video a thumbs up so that I know you like it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. It really does help me a lot, and it only takes 2 seconds. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.